We will begin the service with the ringing of the Kansho.
Welcome to our combined Eitaikyo and BWA Eshinni and Kakushinni memorial service. How are you, everyone? I hope you and your families are doing well. Today's guest speaker is Reverend Murakami. Reverend Murakami will present us his Dharma messages in English and Japanese. Eitai means generations. Eitaikyo service gives us an excellent opportunity to appreciate and honor our Sangha members who lived before us. Because the people who lived before us protected our temple and kept the Dharma alive for generations, we can listen to the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida Buddha today. I hope the temple will prosper for ages and the teachings of Buddha will touch many people. We will dedicate the BWA Eshinni and Kakushinni memorial service to the women who actively devoted their life to the Jodo Shinshu tradition. Eshinni is Shinnan's wife and Kakushinni is their daughter. Because of their significant contribution to Jodo Shinshu, Eshinni and Kakushinni represent those remarkable women to whom our service is dedicated. Now, Reverend Smith will chant Sambujo and Sanbutsuge, and she will read Hyobyakumon for us. So please chant along with Reverend Smith.
We will now chant Sambujo, or 3 respectful callings. Bujo Mida Nyorai Niudo Jo Sho Namanda Namanda Namanda. Kansho. We gather here today to observe Eitaikyo, as well as the BWA's memorial for Eshinni and Kakushinni. Eitaikyo literally means perpetually chanting Buddhist sutras. E means eternal. It is composed of the characters for a river with many tributaries that flow on and on. Tai means generations. Kyo means the sutras or the words of the Buddha. Thus, the meaning of Eitaikyo is to eternally chant the sutras on behalf of and in gratitude for our loved ones, for generations and generations to come. Eitaikyo can be interpreted as the Buddhist temple of San Diego's promise to propagate in perpetuity. Through this Eitaikyo, this river with many tributaries, flows all the sentient beings who have brought the Dharma to us in the past, all the sentient beings who are here sharing the Dharma in the present, and all the sentient beings who will hear the Dharma at the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, on and on into the future. Namo Amida Butsu, Namandab, 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 Namandab. We will now chant Sanbutsuge. Ogen gi gi ijin mugok nyoze en myo muyo tosha nichigatmani shuko en yo kashin onpe yunyaku jumok nyorayogen chose murin shogaku daion koru jipo kaimon shojin sanmai chi e itoku muryo shushoke u jintai zennen shobuten hokai gujin jin no kugo gaitai mumyo yoku nu se son yomu nin o shi shi jin toku muro kukun kodai chi e jin myo ko myo iso shindo dai sen ganga sabuten zai shoho o kado shoji mi huge daten huse joi kainin shojin nyoze sanmai chi e ijo go se toku buten hugyo shigan isai kuku isadai an keshi ubuten hyakusen nokuman muro daisho shunyo goja kuyo isai shito shobuten hunyo gudo kensho fugyaku kinyo goja shobuten sekai bufu kage mushu sendo komyo shisho hen shisho koku nyoze shojin ijin nanro roga sabuten koku do dai ichigo shukimyo dojo chozen koku nyo nai on nimu toso gato I mean do daten isai Jiporai sho Shinnen shoujo ito ga koku keraku an on kobuten shinmyo ze ga shinsho hoten gan no hi riki sho sho yoku jipo se son chi e muge joro shi son chi ga shingyo kero shinshi shokudoku chu gagyo shojin ninju ke namanda bu namanda bu namanda bu namanda bu namanda bu namanda bu Annishi kudoku yodo sei sai dohon bodai shin ojo Show Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Hard is it to be born into human life? Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One? Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even though ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us truly understand the meaning of Tathagata's teaching.
Today, our guest speaker for the combined Eitaikyo service and BWA Eshinni and Kakushinni Memorial is Reverend Hibiki Murakami from the Los Angeles Hompa Hongqanji Buddhist Temple. Murakami Sensei was born and raised as the oldest son of the Joenji Temple in Fukuoka, Japan. Reverend Murakami earned both a bachelor's and master's degree in letters of Shin Buddhism at Rukoku University in Kyoto in 2016 and 2018, respectively. Murakami Sensei received his Tokudo ordination in 2013 and his Kyoshi ordination in 2015. Reverend Murakami will now deliver his talk for the Dharma School students.
Please put your hands together in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Hi, my name is Reverend Hibiki Murakami. I'm serving for LA Hompa Hongqanji Buddhist Temple located nearby downtown LA. Today, I am invited as a speaker for this Eitaikyo service by your temple. I grew up in Japan and I'm still studying English, so I thought telling a story may work rather than a monologue that's spoken by me. At this time, I don't just tell a story. I have prepared an animation for you. Please look at your screen. I am going to show you the animation I have prepared and tell a story to relate to Buddhism teaching, the rainbow-colored diamond. Once there was a village called Golconda in the valley of central India. Al was a rich man of the village who owned much land. He had no family and lived all alone in the large house. A clear stream was running right in front of his house. The bottom of the river was shiny white sand, which stretched along the river. The sand shone even on the cloudy days. It rains every day in India during the rainy season, but the sand shone even in the rain. As Al was born and brought up by this shiny stretch of sand, he had never asked himself why the sand was so shiny. One evening, a traveler monk came to his door. I am a monk who is traveling all over the country. Would you please let me stay the night? Certainly with pleasure. Al welcomed him. He entertained his guest with big dinner dishes, fruits, and spice-flavored tea. The monk told Al many interesting stories of his trip. Al had to laugh many times, for the monk was a very good storyteller. At the end of his story, the monk said to Al, "Have you ever seen a diamond? People say that gold and silver are beautiful, but I think diamonds are the most beautiful things in the world." "I have never seen a diamond," answered Al. "The color of diamond is green, yellow, red, or brown, but they all glitter in rainbow colors." The monk explained to Al, "The best diamond is a transparent one. It is colorless, yet it shines in rainbow colors. Diamond must be a crystal of the sunbeam." Al wished to get a diamond and asked, "Is it very expensive?" "Of course," Replied the monk, if you can find a handful of diamonds, you will be the richest man in this state. If you find a diamond mine, you will be wealthier than any king. R was so excited that he could not sleep well that night. The next morning, the monk told him that diamonds are often found in the white sand of a stream that runs between high mountains. R decided to go on a journey to find a diamond. He did not forget what the monk said as he bid goodbye to him that morning. Search, you may find it. R dismissed all his workers. He sold his land, his house, and all his possessions. With the money, he went on a journey. He went up north and entered Bombay. He crossed the river Indus and headed towards Persia, where he crossed the desert and went west, and finally reached Europe. He looked for a village in a valley and for a stream with a shiny white sand. He could not find any, and he went as far as Spain. 10 years went by. He used up all the money he had, and now he slept under a tree or under the eaves of a house. He became a beggar. He kept saying, diamonds, 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 and died for hunger and cold in a strange land. One day, the monk who had come 10 years before returned to the house where R used to live. Hello, he said. Dear friend R, how have you been? He looked in and saw a shiny lamp on the shelf. Oh, diamonds, diamonds, he cried. Hearing this, the new owner of the house came to the door. Are you looking for Al? She said. He sold this house and all that he had 10 years ago and went on a journey. I own this house now. Is that so? And what happened to Al? Asked the monk. They say that he went to Europe and died of hunger and cold somewhere in Spain. Poor Al, sighed the monk. He must have gone to look for diamonds. May I ask what diamond is? Asked the new owner of the house. It is the most precious stone. It is more valuable than gold, silver, or any other precious stones. By the way, may I ask where you found this shiny lamp? This, said the new owner. As it was beautiful and shiny, I picked it up from the stream in front of the house. It is natural that it shines, dear master. Let's go together to the river. This is a fine diamond. There must be a diamond mine in the river. The two hastened to the river and picked up many shiny lumps of diamonds. They all shone in rainbow colors. The diamond deposits of Golconda was thus discovered. Next to Kimberley in Africa, it is the largest. The monk sighed deeply and said, Poor Al, the diamonds lay at your feet. The story ends here. How was it? In this story, the main person was R. He was rich because he owned his land and his house and ran a business hiring some employees. Besides them, his character was totally like the rest of him. He was not too much greedy. He was gentle since he offered a bedroom for the monk to stay overnight. Perhaps he had worked hard for his life too. But he grew up without knowing what a diamond is. After he knew that the diamonds are worth more than gold, he was admired to become richer. Nevertheless, he had already had his diamond in his home. Also, the river close to his house was a big mine of the diamond. He never noticed them and passed away in misery after he lost everything. There is a proverb: it is hard to see what is under your nose. In Japanese, saying it is Todai Motokurashi. No matter what is good or bad for you, they are hard to be found when they are very close to you. When R knew what diamond is, he became greedy. Perhaps even he knew he already had some diamonds in his territory. He might think he wanted more. But I wonder, does the diamond really make him happy? From me, his life looked already to be enough to spend in happiness. Please remember, at the end of the story, what did the monk said? He said, "Poor are diamonds lay at your feet." I take this diamond doesn't mean the stone diamond. This is a symbol that is something making him happy. When I read this story at first, I thought how mean that monk was, because if he didn't tell how the precious diamond is to Al, he had not had died in misery. But the monk is questioning us, asking, "What is your diamond?" I believe everyone should have their diamonds already, but it may be too close to be noticed. What is your diamond? Search it. I hope you find the real diamond that makes you happy. Thank you very much for listening to my message. Please put your hands together in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
So next we'll have recitation of our pledge written by our Gomonshu. And this will be done by Juliana and Finn. And Juliana will recite from slides 1 and 2, followed by Finn reciting from slides 3 and 4.
Drinking out of my shell, I will share one smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I shall share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to life each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our annual Eitaikyo service and BWA Lady Eshinni and Kakushinni Memorial. On behalf of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Reverend Murakami from the Los Angeles Hompa Hongqanji Buddhist Temple. We thank him for taking time out of his busy schedule to prepare and present his Dharma messages for us to listen to and enjoy. We hope he can visit us in San Diego sometime soon. Thank you to Smitty Sensei for officiating today's service and to Yukari Williams for chairing this morning. Special thanks to Bill Teague for putting the video together for us to view, and appreciation to the Zoom team for their technical assistance. We give appreciation to the Dharma School students for reciting our pledge. In closing, we want to give deep gratitude to you, the Sangha, for your generous donations and constant support to the temple. We look forward to meeting in person soon. Thank you very much.
All Life Forms Memorial. The temple's All Living Beings Memorial will be held on Sunday, December 5th during the Bodhi Day service. We invite anyone who wishes to honor a pet or other living being at this memorial service. To submit your request, send a mail or email to the temple office by November 30th. Be sure to include a photo, name, and short memory. Dharma School submissions from the November 7th Dharma service will be automatically included in the December 5th memorial. Any submissions after November 30th will not be received in time to air the service. The 17th World Buddhist Women's Convention will be held in Kyoto, Japan in May 11th through 12th, 2023. The event will coincide with celebration of the 850th birthday of Shinran Shonin and the 800th anniversary of the Hongqanji. 2021 Winter Clothing Donation Drive. The Buddhist Temple of San Diego Dana Group is supporting Streets of Hope, an organization with a vision to give hope to those who live on the street of San Diego. We will need gently used warm clothing items such as jackets, sweaters, sweatshirts, thick socks, etc. Please drop off your donations at our temple during the month of November. Annual Holiday Food Drive, sponsored by Buddhist Temple of San Diego Junior YBA. Non-perishable food and monetary gift are accepted. Please make checks payable to San Diego Junior YBA. Monetary gifts may be mailed to the temple, or you may drop off your donation on December 4th during the Yaskochi Farms drive-through. Yaskochi Farms CSA Box Fundraiser. Please order and pay by Sunday, November 21st, 2021. You can pay by PayPal, credit card, or check. Please pick up your orders on Saturday, December 4th, 2021 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Buddhist Temple of San Diego drive-through.
We will now chant the Vandana and Ti-Sarana. Please chant along with me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami. Amam saranam gacchami. Sangam saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Kansho. Namo Mirabutsu. Namandab, namandab, namandab. Before we hear Reverend Murakami's Eitaikyo Dharma messages, I would like to briefly reintroduce him. Although he now ministers at Nishi in LA, I first met Murakami Sensei when he was attending IMOP, or the International Ministerial Orientation Program, at the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley. I'm embarrassed to say that because of his youthful appearance and sometimes playful smile, I mistook Reverend Murakami for one of the high school students who were attending a seminar at the JSC at that same time. Please don't be fooled by Murakami Sensei's youthful looks as I once was, for his talks are always filled with insight and deep meaning.
Please put your hands together in Gassho. People in the world, parents and children, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, other family members, or paternal and maternal relatives should truly respect and love each other, refrain from hatred and envy. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda. Namanda Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. Namanda Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. Greetings. My name is Reverend Hibiki Murakami, who's been assigned to LA Hompa Hongqanji Buddhist Temple since last January as a resident minister of BCA. It's my honor to be invited as a guest speaker for the annual Eitaikyo service of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego. I recognize this service is one of the most important religious events throughout the year for you. Unfortunately, I cannot get to San Diego and visit your temple at this time since the COVID pandemic's influence still remains today. I didn't think that I have to keep a social distance between Los Angeles and San Diego. I am recording my message at Nishibetsu-in. Perhaps you may watch and listen to my pre-recorded Dharma message later than I did. I really hoped to talk in front of you because I'm not confident to talk without any audience, but you can take this advantage of this pre-recording if you miss something on what I talk about you can rewind the video and listen to it again. I hope you get something from my message today. From now, I would like to share the Buddha Dharma of the primal vow of Amida Buddha with you. At first, let me quote some sentences which I always talk about as its prologue for the Japanese message at the service of the Nishibetsuin's monthly Eitaikyo memorial service. So every month, I start my message as follows. Eitaikyo is perpetual chanting. Given the donation from the families, they make Nishibetsuin alive as a sacred place. It creates more gatherings for the future generation to let them meet and listen to the guidance of the Buddha Dharma, which sails them over the river of sufferings towards the other ocean. Amida Buddha's primal vow lets us attain enlightenment over the river. We hear it and receive it, the Buddha Dharma at this service. On the other hand, Eitaikyo is a time to reflect on the memory with your beloved one who went to Amida Buddha's Pure Land. We acknowledge their legacies in our minds through the service. So let me explain what Eitaikyo means here. Eitaikyo consists of three Chinese characters, kanjis. From the point of its meaning, it could be divided into two parts. One is Eitai, and the other is Kyo. Eitaikyo's Eitai is meaning to last or continue from generation to generation. You might be wondering what Eitai will last. In a Japanese Buddhism dictionary, the term Eitaikyo is defined that a family chants a Buddhist sutra perpetually every month of the day when the deceased passes away. In English, we are familiar with sutra that is known as a Buddhist textbook. So the term sutra indicates Eitaikyo's kyo. Originally, the sutra didn't mean the Buddhist textbook though. It was used to refer to vertical thread. For example, as to knitting, texture has width and length. The vertical thread makes the length of the texture. As the same, the thread of sutra means that time stretches from the past to the future. Our ancestors met the Buddha Dharma and they were inspired by the Dharma. Then they hoped their children can follow the guidance which they were inspired. The Buddhist Sutra was passed by them as a gift by our ancestors. And more, Eitaikyo's kyo has another meaning. The kanji of kyo involves the eternal truth. Of course, that is the Buddha Dharma. Therefore, the whole of the characters of Eitaikyo has double meanings. One, we receive what our ancestors preserved. And two, we receive the Buddha Dharma. These two should not be divided, should not be different. We receive their hearts that was inspired by touching the Buddha Dharma. The Dharma embraces all people from the past to the future. But by joining Eitaikyo service, we are notified that all beings are aboard the same vessel of Amida Buddha's primal vow. I'm sure you know what is mentioned in the sutra book. Of course, the Buddhist sutra are telling the Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings by words. Regarding words, or could be sentence, most of the time it is very convenient to tell something, but sometimes it causes trouble either. For example, if you want to read a sutra, you would study what is written by looking up a dictionary to find the definition of words. If we have enough and appropriate knowledge about words, we can read and understand them. However, it is very hard to tell what the Buddha Dharma is explaining by the sentence, because what is written in the sutra is conveyed by Shakyamuni Buddha, who experienced the eternal truth. And he told it to his disciples directly, unlike the definitions on the dictionary that is expected understandable by anyone. I believe there are two types of sentences. One involves somebody's heart, and the other is not to have any heart. Why can you accept a message when you read a sentence that is not talking about you? In a normal situation, we make a dialogue between people. When we express gratitude, when we point out something, even when we argue with someone, we talk to someone heart by heart. If you say something directly to someone, relatively it may be easier to tell what you think, because you can express what you think with your face and also hand gestures. Who receives your message also can understand more efficiently for the same reason. But in the sentences explaining a definition or logic, there is neither dialogue nor communication exchanging someone's heart. If you get to know some logic, you may gain knowledge and become smarter. But you cannot apply this methodology to read the Buddhist Sutra. I believe the Buddhist Sutra is a message from the Buddha towards the unawakened beings, which addresses the heart, the Buddha's wisdom and the compassion. On the sutra, we see a lot of sentences explaining something. They are not, however, talking about someone. They are talking about you. In terms of recitation of Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu, it is uniquely known by letters. We say Myogo, of course, it is also a message sent by Amida to us. We can resolve and analyze these 6 letters of Myogo, though, but we know that is not the point. Namo Amida Butsu is a private message sent to each of us from the Tathagata, that is fully awakened and coming back to our world from the Buddha land. Since a long time ago, this recitation has been kept by countless people who had taken refuge in its message. Just come as you are. That comes from the genuine mind possessed by Amida Buddha that was cultivated for the beings who cannot remove defilement. From its surface, it is difficult to realize that message. But beneath its letters or sound, the Buddha's wisdom and compassion are fully prepared. With a sincerest mind that Amida cultivated, the Buddha represents its heart onto the Namo Amida Butsu. I cannot help to stop feeling its embracement. Reverend Yoshio Toi, who was a Shin Buddhist priest and a renowned educator in Japan, left a phrase about being embraced. He said, "Those who don't pray are prayed. When they don't pray, they are prayed." This phrase came out when Reverend Toi passed by a statue of Ojizo-san, which is known as a bodhisattva and guardian of children, without stopping his bicycle on road. Soon after he realized that he forgot to pray to the Ojizo-san. The statue of Jizo prayed for him silently. He noticed it. Relating with this story, there is a thing I want to mention about the Jodo Shinshu temples. Most of the BCA temples have a common architectural similarity. I found that in the building of Buddhist temple of San Diego, and of course, Nishibetsu-in as well. Every building has a shape resembling a posture of the palms together in Gassho. For instance, the shape of Nishibetsu-in's rooftop looks like Gassho. I mean, this shape, you know. Seemingly, your temple's main door for the entrance has an eave welcoming the visitors. Observing it precisely, you may find a Japanese roof putting on the eaves. Don't you think it resembles the posture of putting hands together in Gassho? And your temple is bowing to you. The temple building is bowing and welcoming the visitors, putting their hands together in Gassho, like a statue of Ojizo-san. Every Buddhist temple represents the Buddha Dharma with a building itself. Amida Buddha had vowed the utmost Buddhist practice and merit that are enough to fulfill everyone's hope before we hoped it. In accord with Namo Amida Butsu's voluntary work, the Amida Tathagata is performing the primal vow and praying for us with a vow. That mind demonstrates on the design of our temple, on the chanting of the sutra, and on the heart who greatly enjoyed the Buddha Dharma through the dialogue over the generation. I humbly conclude my message by quoting a sentence again from the larger sutra of the Three Land Pure Land Sutras. Thank you very much for having me at this 2021 annual Eitaikyo service and listening to my message. Please put your hands together in Gassho. People in the world, parents and children, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, other family members, or paternal and maternal relatives should truly respect and love each other, refraining from hatred and envy. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much for being with me.
In gratitude to Amida, the Buddha as words, I dedicate my whole being to realizing the Buddha's intent. In gratitude to the masters of teachings and the countless good Dharma friends among our ancestors, I dedicate my total efforts to spreading the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namandab, Namandab, Namandab. The words that I just shared with you are Reverend Kenru Tsuji's interpretation of Ondokusan, the lyrics of which were written by Shinran Shonin. Reverend Tsuji's translation of the Gatha expresses gratitude to Amida Buddha and to our teachers, yet it not only acknowledges the 7 masters of Jodo Shinshu, but also all other teachers, including our ancestors and good Dharma friends. I chose this interpretation to share with you because while it doesn't explicitly mention Eshinni and Kakushinni, it implies that we are indebted to those 2 women as well. And I believe those words also capture the essence of the faith and attitudes of Eshinni and Kakushinni. You know, until relatively recently, very little was known about Eshinni, the woman Shinran Shonin married. However, 10 letters that she had written, dated from around 1254 to 1268, were discovered among the Hongqanji archives in 1921. Eshinni's letters described important historical events in the life of Shinran Shonin, as well as the conditions in Japan during the Kamakura era. Eshinni was the daughter of Miyoshi Tamanori, a samurai of high rank in Echigo. She was described as refined and well-educated. Eshinni was also a landowner. This allowed Eshinni and Shinran to survive and raise a family while Shinran pursued his life's mission of spreading the Nembutsu teaching imparted to him by Honin Shonin. This teaching was to recite Namo Amida Butsu with deep faith, or Shinjin, and thus to be embraced by the great wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. Shinran and Eshinni were married around 1210 and lived in Echigo, where he had been exiled in the year 1207. They moved to the Kanto area sometime between 1212 and 1219, returning to Kyoto with some of their children around 1233. Eshinni lived in Kyoto with Shinran until around 1254, and then it became necessary for her to return to Echigo to take care of her property. At that time, Eshinni was 73 years old. She left her 82-year-old husband in the care of their youngest daughter, Kakushinni. When Eshinni returned to Echigo, the people were suffering from extreme hardships. Famine followed poor harvests, and epidemics claimed the lives of young and old alike. Eshinni was responsible for her farmlands, her 2 orphaned grandchildren, and her servants and their families. She struggled to keep herself and her dependents from starving. These circumstances prevented her from ever returning to Kyoto to reunite with Shinran. However, despite the hardships, Eshinni's belief in the Nembutsu was unwavering. Late in her life, she wrote to her daughter, "I may be going to the land of bliss at any moment. In the land of bliss, we will be able to see everything clearly. So I hope that you shall live the life of the Nembutsu and come to join me there." And Eshinni passed away in the year 1268. Kakushinni was born near Mito in present-day Ibaraki Prefecture. Her original name was Ogozen. Some scholars believe that Kakushinni's birth year was when Shinran began compiling his major work, the Jodo Shinshu, or the true teaching, practice, and realization of the Pure Land Way. Kakushinni was 9 or 10 years old when she moved to Kyoto with Shinran and Eshinni. As an adolescent, Kakushinni left home to serve as a lady-in-waiting to the household of Kuga Michiteru, whose brother was Dogen, the founder of Zen Buddhism. Kakushinni married Hino Hirotsuna, a relative and follower of Shinran Shonin, and in 1239, she gave birth to a son, Koju, known by his Buddhist name, Kakue. Hino Hirotsuna died when Kakue was 7 years old. Kakushinni took Kakue and went back to live with her parents. Until Kakue was about 9, he spent time with Shinran, learning the essence of the Nembutsu teachings. Later, Kakue entered Shoran-in, a Tendai temple in Kyoto. Kakushinni took care of Shinran during his last years. Shinran entered Nirvana on January 16, 1263, at the age of 90. In those times, people believed that strange and miraculous events would occur when an important religious person died. Kakushinni wrote a letter to her mother, stating concern that her father's death was uneventful. She had not seen a retinue of bodhisattvas or clouds of purple mist when her father passed to the other shore. Eshinni wrote back, "There is no doubt that your father was born in the Pure Land, and there is no need for me to reiterate this." Eshinni firmly believed that Shinran Shonin's birth in the Pure Land was assured because of his complete reliance on Amida's vow. 3 years after Shinran died, Kakushinni married Onomiya Zenin, who owned valuable property in Kyoto. They had at least two sons, one of which was named Yuizen. In 1272, Shinran's ashes were removed from their original site of interment at Otani in Higashiyama to Zenon's estate. Some dedicated and influential disciples of Shinran gave monetary donations to construct the ancestral hall. This is the nucleus of today's Jodo Shinshu Hongqanji Ha. Although the ancestral hall belonged to Shinran Shonin's disciples from Kanto, Zenon gave the property on which it stood to Kakushinni in 1274. He also stipulated that it was for her to decide whether his son, Yuizen, or his stepson, Kakue, would be the heir to inherit her land. However, Kakushinni went beyond tradition and decided instead that the land would be jointly owned by the disciples of Shinran Shonin. The Nembutsu teaching was a revolutionary doctrine at the time. The primal vow of Amida Buddha embraced all. No one was excluded on the basis of class, gender, education, or other biases. Kakushinni may have made her decisions based on this understanding of equality that her father, Shinran, had taught. Kakushinni also specified that the upkeep of the ancestral hall and the position and authority of Rusushiki, or the protector of the Otani ancestral hall, should be inherited by Shinran Shonin's descendants. Kakushinni assumed the duties of the first Rusushiki and served in that position until she passed away in 1283 at the age of 60. Her first son, Kakue, succeeded her as second Rusushiki. Kakue's successor was her grandson, Kakuno, and he changed the role of Rusushiki from a caretaker to an administrator. And of course, today, the head abbot of Jodo Shinshu Hongqanji Ha is known as the Gomonshu, or abbot. Thus, the contributions of both Eshinni and Kakushinni have been a lasting impact on Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Eshinni gave her husband, Shinran Shonin, her complete dedication and support so that he might share the Nembutsu teachings. Kakushinni, Shinran's youngest daughter, established the foundation and center from which to transmit her father's teachings for many generations. Eshinni and Kakushinni represented women of the Kamakura era who were confident and self-aware and who actively participated in the history of Japan and our Jodo Shinshu tradition. Please join me again in Gassho. In gratitude to Amida, the Buddha as words, I dedicate my whole being to realizing the Buddha's intent. In gratitude to the masters of teachings and the countless good Dharma friends among our ancestors, I dedicate my total efforts to spreading the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Thank you everyone for participating in today's Eitaikyo service. I want to thank Reverend Murakami for giving us his Dharma messages, Reverend Smith for chanting and organizing the service, Reverend for Kansho, Juliana and Finn for our pledge, and Luann for the appreciation message. I also want to thank Bill Teague for putting the videos together and Kimberly Cruz for coordinating the service behind the scene. I want to thank everybody who was involved in creating this outstanding Eitaikyo service. Now, does anyone have additional announcement? Please unmute yourself and start speaking.
Okay, if there are no other announcements, we will thank you so much, Yukari. We will now begin to assign participants into breakout rooms. So, however, if you would like to, sorry.
Kimberly?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Sue Maribeth.
Hi. Mm-hmm.
Hi, yeah, just to let you know about the brittle sale, the BWA brittle sale. We did order more, but we're running really low on the large brittle. We have quite a few small brittle left, and we still have popcorn, the brittle corn. So please get your orders in. Give me a call to make sure that we have what you need. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
All right, thank you, Sue. So we will now begin to assign participants into breakout rooms. However, if you would like to listen to Murakami Sensei's Japanese Dharma Talk, please do not accept the breakout room and remain in the main session.